At the end of this story, we see what really happened. Geppetto, an elderly and lonely carpenter, lives in a small Italian village. One day, with great care, he carves a wooden puppet named Pinocchio, wishing that his creation would accompany him in his solitude. To his surprise, the puppet comes to life. Pinocchio, now a talking marionette, begins to act like a curious and mischievous child. Although made of wood, Pinocchio behaves like a real boy. He learns to talk, walk, and interact with the world around him. Geppetto feels blessed to finally have a son, and together they embark on various adventures. Pinocchio, although mischievous, is deeply loved by Geppetto, who strives to teach him the values of honesty, hard work, and respect. However, Pinocchio's mischief leads him into several traps. He is influenced by characters like the talking cricket, who becomes his conscience, and the liar, Honest John, who deceives him with promises of fun. Each time Pinocchio lies or makes impulsive decisions, his nose grows, a sign of his lies, and he faces the consequences of his mistakes. But instead of learning, Pinocchio continues to drift further away from Geppetto and becomes increasingly lost in his own illusions and lies. He is taken to Pleasure Island, a place where mischievous boys are turned into donkeys and later swallowed by a huge whale. In each of these episodes, Geppetto does his best to save his son, braving storms and dangers in search of his life. Finally, after a series of seemingly miraculous events, Pinocchio and Geppetto reunite. The wooden puppet, now wiser and regretful of his misdeeds, decides to change and become a real boy. It is at this moment that everything seems to fall into place, as if Geppetto's fantasy had finally become reality. However, in a moment of stillness, Geppetto looks at Pinocchio and suddenly begins to notice something strange. What he feels is not the sensation of a real son in his arms, but the coldness and rigidity of wood. And then, like a shock, he realizes Pinocchio was never real. He was never a boy. All of it, the adventures, the mistakes, the lessons, was just the product of his lonely mind, desperate for affection. As Geppetto looks at the puppet standing in his hands, he understands that even with his mind creating an entire world around Pinocchio, the truth is that he has always been alone. What he thought was a son, a life full of love and adventure, was nothing more than a reflection of his loneliness and longing for company. He realizes that in truth he is losing touch with reality and will need treatment. The story ends with Geppetto hugging the wooden puppet one last time in a mixture of sadness and acceptance. He understands that deep down, the love he felt for Pinocchio was real, even though Pinocchio himself never existed. Want to discover more things? Then like and subscribe to this channel.